Before you ever start cooking in the kitchen, you need to make sure your hair is tied up in a ponytail, especially if you have long-haired girls or long-haired boys. And then the second step you need to do is you need to wash your hands because you don't want any nasty germs all in your food. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick and I'll be right back. What you'll need to make your delicious banana bread is 4 cups of flour, I have it right here in this bowl, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of pecans, which really becomes your preference. Most people put walnuts in their banana bread, but I prefer pecans, so I put pecans in mine. You will also need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 8 ripe bananas, 4 eggs, 1 cup of butter, which is equal to 2 sticks of butter, a whisk, a mashed potato masher, a spatula, and 3 bowls, and also baking spray, and a loaf pan, and a hand mixer, which is hiding down there. And those are all the ingredients you'll need to make your delicious banana bread. So whenever you're getting all of your ingredients ready, you should preheat your oven. It is set to 325, so as soon as it goes off, the oven will be ready to start. The thing you need to do when starting to bake your banana bread is you need to whisk together your dry ingredients. That's the whole point of having the whisk in your utensils. So you're going to put your 4 cups of flour in one of your large bowls that you have from earlier. You're also going to put your salt and your baking soda in here. And then you're going to whisk it together till it's well combined so that the baking soda and salt isn't all in just like one big spot in the flour. And also it's going to help break up the clumps in the flour so it's not as hard to mix later. See how it's kind of like, it doesn't have any lumps in it really, it's just kind of really soft and not hard to mix together. That's what you want. And the next thing you're going to want to do is cream together your butter, sugar, and eggs. And when you do your eggs, you're going to crack them one at a time, add them, and then mix it together. And then you can add the next egg in. So we're going to put our 2 cups of sugar in here. And then our 1 cup of butter, which is softened butter. I forgot to say that in the last clip. You want to soften your butter before. And what I did is I softened mine in 10-second increments for a total of 30 seconds. Because you don't really want it melted, you still want it in a solid form. So it gets kind of messy when it's melted. It's just not as fun to deal with. So get all your butter in your bowl. I have a trash can sitting over here so I can clean up as I go. And then you're going to want to mix them together with your hand mixer. Start low and slow so you don't make a big mess. Okay, and in between each of these you're going to want to get handy dandy spatula and mix in here and make sure it's all combined, because sometimes the sugar just sticks to the bottom of your bowl and doesn't get mixed in with the butter, and you want all of the sugar to get mixed in. Get the excess off your spatula, wipe it off, and now you're ready to add your eggs one at a time. So as you see, I have an extra bowl because you're going to crack them one at a time. Make sure there's nothing in your eggs, because otherwise then you just want to throw the eggshell away. So you're going to put the 1 egg in and mix, and so on and so forth till you've got all your eggs in. And then I'll be back as soon as I'm done mixing it all together to show you what it looks like. The thing that you're going to do after you've creamed together your butter and sugar, as you can see, it's like all mixed together now. There's no lumps, no clumps. It's just all very nice and mixed together. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add your cream mixture to your dry mixture from earlier. And you just want to be really careful putting your creamed mixture in here, because if you put it like just glop it in there, you're going to get a big puff of flour everywhere, and nobody likes that because then it makes just a really big mess. Now that you got your creamed mixture in there, you're going to put your bowl to the side, and you're going to turn on your mixer. And you want to start low, because otherwise you're going to get flour everywhere. And it's going to get harder and harder to mix as you go, so you're going to have to turn up the speed gradually as you add in the mixture. you can see, it's not all mixed together, so that's when you take your spatula and you get all the flour and all the sugar all mixed in here. And whenever you add the bananas later is when it's going to be a lot easier to mix. This right now is kind of like the dough part of the bread. So this is the hard part right now, is mixing all of this together. And if it's not all mixed together when you start, that's okay, because you're just going to put the bananas in and it'll turn out just fine. So I'm going to leave this for right now because this looks good to me right now. I know it's not all mixed up, but it will be soon. So I'm going to come back in a minute and I'm going to show you how to mash up your bananas and mix your pecans into the banana mixture. This banana is almost all the way black. There's still a few yellow spots on it, but that's about what you want your banana to look like before you start making your recipe. Because if they're too green, they're not going to give off enough of a banana flavor for it really to come through in the bread. So as you can see in this bowl, I have 7 of my bananas already like chunked up into the bowl. So I'm going to peel this one real quick and I'm going to chunk it. And that's when, I'm going to wipe my hands off real quick. Try to bring your pecans over here. And that's when your handy dandy potato masher comes in handy, because you're going to want to mash the potatoes. You're going to want to mash the bananas until they're kind of a liquid consistency. Not like all the way liquidy, but it's going to be kind of liquidy. So I'm just going to keep mashing all of these bananas, and I'll come back to you as soon as I'm done to show you what the final product looks like. I've mashed up all of our bananas. There are still some chunks of banana in here, but that's all personal preference. I personally like it to have some chunks of banana in it instead of like a puree where there's no lumps or anything. So next step is you're going to take your pecans or walnuts or whatever kind of tree nut you decide to use and put it into your banana mixture. You're just going to pour them in. And then you can just use your potato masher to mix it in. It's not very hard to mix the pecans into the bananas. And that's all mixed up. So put this over here. And as you can see, I have 2 bananas sitting aside. That's because if when you add your dough mixture to your banana mixture, if the mixture's still a little like thick and it's hard to stir, you can add more banana. It won't really do much. It will just make it a little more softer whenever you bake it. And you might have to bake it just a little bit longer because the middle might not be done as much. So, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, stop. Oh, literally, it's back to over here. I was looking for it. I was like, where's my spatula? Now what you're going to do, depending on which bowl is bigger, in my case, the bowl that I did the banana mixture in is a little bit bigger. So we're going to add our dough mixture to the banana mixture instead of, in most cases, you would add your banana mixture to your dough mixture. So we're going to add it just a little bit at a time. So just take a clump of it, put it in there. Come off the spatula. Use your finger if you have to. My spatula is breaking. And then just add a little bit more. Or if you want to, you can just add it all in. Oh, goodness. Or you can just add it all in because you're impatient like me. Most people would say that's a bad thing in cooking, but I don't really care. So then use your finger again. Get it all off. Your spatula might break if you're in my case, because I think we got this like how many years ago? 5 years ago? You were cooking, you got them in some kind of holiday set. We got this spatula in. And you're gonna need to sit it aside. I'm gonna wipe my finger off. I have my handy dandy towel sitting aside. So now you're gonna take your beaters. You're gonna attempt to mix your mixture together. And it'll slowly come together because the more you get the mixture combined, the more it'll homogenate. I think that's the right word. It'll become one. Not all the way one, but it'll be close enough. So you're going to turn your beaters off. Take your handy dandy spatula. Go around the outside, make sure you got all the banana mixture up to the top of the bowl. mix one more time. Make sure you got it all combined in there. And the next step you're going to want to do, cameraman, if you would politely follow me over to the sink, is you're going to take your loaf pan and your cooking spray, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to spray it over the sink so that you're not getting like cooking spray all over your countertop, so it's not all greasy. So you just want to do a decent coating of cooking spray on your pan. Not too much, not too little, just so that the loaf doesn't stick to it when it's getting taken out of the oven. You're going to trip over the trash can. And then the next thing you're going to want to do, get this out of the way, take this, put it in here, take your beaters out of there, put them in your bowl, wipe your hand off because you got nasty banana mixture all over your hand. And then you're just going to want to spoon your banana mixture into your welly greased loaf pan. So we're going to come back after I've put all the banana mixture, after I've put all of the banana bread mixture in the loaf pans, and we'll put it in the oven to start cooking. Loaf in the oven, you see that I've kind of filled it almost, you only want about maybe ½ inch to an inch showing on the loaf pan whenever you're done, because it is going to rise, so you don't want to fill it all the way because otherwise it's just going to go over, and you don't want to fill it too little because then it's just not going to look good. So now you're going to want to open the oven. Don't put your face right over the oven because then you're going to burn yourself or melt your eyelashes together. And the recipe says to put it in for 1 hour and 15 minutes, but that kind of depends on your oven and like how high you put it or how patient you are. For me, most of the time, I check it halfway through, and then if it's still not done at 1 hour and 15, I'll put it in for like another 20 minutes and then check on it again. So I still have my leftover batter, and I personally like to put my leftover batter in these little loaf pans because they're just like easier to carry around for like snacks or something, or if you want to give them to your friends as gifts. So I'm going to put the rest of this mixture in this pan, and then we'll come back as soon as the loaves are all done cooking, because these will come out before the big loaf. So we'll be back to show you what the end product looks like. To the little loaf pans, and they were all the way done, and as you can see, they're right here. They're all the way done. It took them about 33 minutes to cook, and as you can see, our countdown timer's still going for the big loaf. We'll check it in probably another 10 minutes, but the little loaves are done, and now we just have to wait. As you can see, we have 30 seconds left until the banana bread is about to come out of the oven. So we just patiently wait for the few seconds left to count down.
You realize 20 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, I'll cut it. Okay, whatever. Hurry up.
13? Okay.
10. I literally will just like cut it till it says 3, 2, 1. And there it is. The banana bread should be done right now. Let's check it. Let's get a knife out of the drawer. As you can see, it came out clean, so that means the bread is done. Thank you for listening to me today on how to create my delicious banana bread. 3, 2, 1. And there it is. The banana bread should be done right now. Let's check it. Let's get a knife out of the drawer. As you can see, it came out clean, so that means the bread is done. Thank you for listening to me today on how to create my delicious banana bread.